Interesting growth from Giants. You're about to see the champions on your screen in a moment. Giants, who found all that success at the end of the spring split with heavy aggression. They did the same in week 1, and then now they're doing these poke comps. Hashtag ROC last week.
Yeah, I was going to say, is heading into the top lane. And again, Steve is the one everybody is focusing.
He's been stunned, he's been counter-striked. Steve will befall the same fate that Freddy fell last week. And actually with that
in his due diligence, but he is only level 1, so has to check with Q. Flash in the bottom lane though.
So we do see Vanda, he's caught Godfred, the black shield is up, he lands the binding onto Jankos, he's trying to get away, but the follow-up resonating strike will secure a kill on the board for Roccat. And it lands
somebody to stop him, which is unlikely the later it goes into the game, or just engage. And I think that's one of the things that's more difficult for this Giants composition is the distance they can put between themselves and their opponents. Roccat.
And of course, for Roccat, they're looking for team fights. That's what their team does best. Giants, they want to poke.
Ooh, they're boxed in though.
The tower has been secured. There's Agony's Embrace on what I think was 3. True Shot Barrage flies across, and Steve manages to get the Equalizer down before getting down. Chain of Corruption catches on Vanda, and he gets melted through the Unbreakable Will. And Nukeduck, he wants to pick a fight. Emperor's Divide doesn't really connect, but Frederick's in trouble. Woolite looking for a kill. He does get caught by the piercing arrow and is now in full retreat. Flash forward onto the Dark Binding. Audrey with the Mystic Shot, but Dead's going to follow up with the Arcane Shift. One more long-range skill shot, and Lozok
Boots, I assume? Oh, okay, he's just up to flat damage and then penetration from it with a Last Whisper. But Steve, speaking of damage, is in trouble.
Steve, he's running, gets the Equalizer out, doesn't even matter. It was too little and too late, and Werlib just Steve rolls him down.
Oh dear.
Well, we do see Godfred, he's come in, but he's in trouble. Knocked under the tower. Nukeduck is trying to get away, but the Soul Shackles will catch him out. True Shot Barrage goes wide, and Audrey... You can feel the pain there. Nukeduck almost takes him out. Chain of Corruption catches Vanda, but he unbreakables those chains. Piercing arrows, Mystic Shot, Essence, Flux, everything trying to catch him down, but Audrey does have that red buff, so if he can clip him with the skill shot, does not this time around, means Vanda should be able to get away. You see Mystic Shot carries on chasing. Audrey's got a lot of mana. He gets the Pulverize, and Steve is teleporting in. He's on the board. He gets the double buffs, just the red buff rather. And that's a Steve double kill. Jankos now finds Godfred, trying to catch him out. No Dragon's Rage yet. Wards hop forward. Tempest and Cripple should be up in a couple of seconds, and Jankos is just going to run him down, actually flashing for that one. As Jankos gets the kill, half of the map. Giants with a super confident play. The problem here, Stress, is Jankos is around. He does have Smite. He's got caught out by the Chain of Corruption. Baron's been secured, but Giants are low. Steve is looking for more. The Equalizer went in the pit, and he wasn't able to get more. Jankos jumps in, and he manages to land the roundhouse kick to the head of Frederick.
For Roccat to actually engage.
Great play from Giants. We saw the Baron's stats, only securing 3. This will be number 4 as Werlib jumps onto Nukeduck. We see the cleanse coming out once more. Mystic Shots being fired. True Shot Barrage is available. Audrey missed the last one onto Nukeduck. Throws the second one. This time it connects, but the body blocking reduces the damage.
Cannot afford to take that kind of poke at this point. Giants are going to be able to push this down, but every time they make a move like this, Werlib is getting work done the other side of the map. You have to be careful of Jankos looking for the engage though.
Well, he tried the Dragon's Rage kick, but Frederick, he had the black shield. He wasn't going anywhere. Nukeduck slides all the way forward with the Conquering Shifting Sands. We do see Summoner Heal was used to keep him alive, and Vanda is the one that eats the Dark Binding. Pepinero secures the kill as Giants peel.
They know that they can just continue this again and again, and as long as Jankos didn't get that engaged, speaking of Jankos, he's caught.
That looked like it hurt. Nukeduck, though, he fancies a piece. Nukeduck and Steve are alive, both with their ultimates.
Again, though.
Wise, Giants back away. However, Dragons can down bottom. Roccat and other ones rushing. Take a look at this. Giants are very far away. There's only 2 members nearby. Frederick could flash over to try steal.
He got it!
He steals it! Frederick manages to show up big once more. Baron secured for Giants. Dark Binding goes wide. Werlib, he's found targets. He manages to stun up Vanda, but Steve and Nukeduck, they're sitting on the sidelines. Woolite is all the way in the top lane, trying to rejoin the rest of his team.
Oh, there we go.
The Equalizer down. That melts Giants. We see Godfred going low, but the Black Shield keeps him alive. Chain of Corruption catches no one, but Roccat give themselves 2 kills at the cost of only Vanda's life.
To the Giants, and that's one thing that they've been using to their advantage very well. Talisman of Ascension has been on Godfred. He managed to get that smite down, but from here, the re-engage from Roccat was actually fairly good. Yes, Steve got caught, but his top lane, there's a catch.
Well, the counter-strike from Werlib managed to catch out 3. Mystic shot, it does tag Woolite, and the piercing arrow kills him. Jankos gets caught out by the chain of corruption, and Werlib is going to stun up Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck goes golden, but goes down to the mighty Duck. The Pigeon has no power there. And the only man remaining is Vander. Giants with 4 easy kills and an uncontested inhibitor turret set their focus in the middle lane.
That could just be game here for Giants. It was a lot slower affair at this point than last week, but Roccat once again are just drawn into fights. We didn't see the build-up of why they were in the top lane, but it's cost them dearly.
It looks like they want to finish. They've got Baron-empowered minions and 2 cannon minions to work with. Vander's going to get focused by everybody as the rest of Giants are on the Nexus turrets. Giants open up the summer split with a 4-1 record, and they show that they are the real deal. I guess, you know, being the pair of blondies down bottom is working out for Giants. Godfred still undefeated on Morgana. Roccat still looking to find the magical ingredient that will help their performance.
They certainly seem to be going Super Saiyan down in that bottom lane because they are very, well, they look very uncontested in all of their games. There seems to be a lot of freedom being given to the Giants bot lane.
Yeah, let's be fair. Giants did get smashed by Origin.
Oh, yeah, true.
So the one loss that Giants have picked up was against, of course, the #1 team in Europe right now. Albeit they have 1 extra game on Fnatic, so I'm being a little pedantic here. But when Giants are playing, their play style is just so drastically different from Spring.
Yeah.
This game was a good example of control and patience decision-making. And there's Lozark, the coach on screen, talking to Godfred, who we've heard him say he's involved in a lot of the calls. Definitely helping focus Giants' individual capabilities.
It's certainly not perfect from them yet, but the growth is there more than anything else. I think when you look at most improved teams, certainly Giants are the most improved team and the most changed when it comes to a positive way, but it's a really weird shift we've had in Europe now, where a lot of teams you'd expect to do not so good just aren't, or not so good are doing very well gelling as a team, but the other side of the coin is the lower table teams just are not looking quite as in shape as even teams like Giants are looking.
Definitely not. Roccat placed 8th in Spring, had to re-qualify through the promotion tournament. They're currently 1-4 in Summer. They did make a change to their roster. It's not working out. We look at Giants, on the other hand, who placed 9th in Spring, also had to re-qualify, changed their support, and in that game, Adri dealt more damage than Pepinero. You feel like Werlib's Jax was played well. If anybody remembers a Giants versus SK match where they also ran a Jax top, but chose to team fight with him all the time. I believe the Jax was about 3-0 in that game, and he was like, I'll just go team fight, now I'm not going to split push. They didn't make that mistake here. He was always in a side lane. He was always putting pressure on towers.
I kind of want to go back. You were talking about the change that Roccat made with regards to Steve. I actually don't think there's too much on Steve's shoulders when it comes to why the team perhaps aren't always looking so great. I feel like Steve has been focused so incredibly hard by every team that Roccat has played against. And yes, that gives a lot of freedom to Jankos and Woolite to get ahead, but it's becoming a big team effort that they now need to address this top lane. They need to start putting more focus up there because Steve cannot survive on his own when everybody else is in his lane.
Yeah, especially when you consider Frederick was camping there for so long. I mean, really, really such a lengthy period of time. But one interesting opening to week 3. You know, one of the big questions we had for this game was Roccat were looking better. And Giants, like we said, if you can perform for 3 weeks consistently, go 5-1 or put up really good games, then the question marks of, ooh, it was blips, ooh, it was opponents, that starts to fizzle away because now you're consistently showing up to be a top of the table team. Giants are definitely trending towards that because, again, a great control game. Slower pace, slower tempo, but you can't really challenge them for that.
Yeah, you can't challenge them. The one thing I would say, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, but the argument is getting weaker and weaker that I'm about to propose every single game is that Giants are doing this against teams that, in theory, they should be beating.
Okay.
When you look at how the table is playing out, they're yet to be tested against the team that they shouldn't be beating. We know that they have kind of done that before in the spring split, but certainly they are looking like a mid-table team. And that, you know, they said we're in this to make playoffs, and if they continue like this, then they are shoo-in for it.
This is the week that I find the most interesting, because once we wrap up tomorrow's set of games, we're exactly a third of the way through the summer split, and then you can start to really get a feel on who belongs at the top of the table, who belongs at the middle of the table, and who belongs towards the bottom. For now, Giants have squarely set their flag in the top half of the table, and we're going to hear from a couple of the Giants members.